don't know what any of this is. I am just making the stupid voices. The stupid voices are the funny. The louder you are, the funnier you are. The survival horror genre has come a long way since Pac-Man in 1980 and practically dominates the market today with chill-inducing horror titles such as Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5, Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and The Elder Scrolls Skim. Alone in the Dark was released at some point between the 20th century and the 21st century by Infogrames. It was a groundbreaking game for its time for putting style above substance, having terrible gameplay, and falsely proclaiming itself to be inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. Too bad none of this stuff is actually in the game. Time to choose a character, because the female, who actually has connections to the house and is investigating the suicide of her uncle, isn't canon. We'll be playing Conby, a private dick who is sent to the evil residence to retrieve a piano from the attic.
When my banker contacted me, I slipped into my best shirt and got to my banker as fast as I could. My banker handed me $150. What I was asked to do was pee in my banker's ass. I kept myself from grinning at the thought of my banker's heartwood. I'd go crazy over my banker's junk. I worship my banker's privates.
After character selection, the game proceeds to shamelessly lift the scene from the horror classic Resident Evil 5, which absolutely blows my mind because Resident Evil 5 wasn't even a good game. Was that supposed to be a jump scare? Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, So after getting out of the car, the game decides it's a good idea to have you watch as Carnby slowly walks the attic on his own with no player input, most likely to flaunt its impressive polygons. But then the game has the gall to start off without giving you any cool guns to shoot. This game is loaded with terrible design decisions such as these. Did they even show this game to a focus group before they released it? Well, there's the piano Conby was sent to get. Wait, he was told it was in the attic. How is he planning on getting it out of the house on his own? Maybe there's something in the mansion that will help him move the piano. Nothing in here. Nothing in here. Just a zombie in here. Nothing here. Someone turned off the graphics in here. Wait, is this supposed to be a survival horror game? Last time I checked, Dr. Eggbotnik made of Skittles isn't exactly Lovecraftian material. What is it? And what exactly is this bizarre mess of strange symbols? It's like a whole paragraph. They don't honestly expect me to read all this, do they? Ugh, what the fuck? Here's a pirate. I don't know why he's here. Last time I checked, there were no pirates like this in the 1920s. Someone didn't do their research. The only way to kill the pirate is to stand in one place and spam attack with a sword equipped, unlike everything else in the game in which the tactic is to stand in place and spam attack with nothing equipped. I wonder if there's something that will help move the piano in the basement. No, just some terrible platforming sections with terrible camera angles that make it difficult to judge distance and sometimes the direction Conby's facing. Well, here's an evil tree. Better rub everything in the inventory on it. I've searched everywhere and there's still no sign of a way to move the piano. There must be something outside. No, only the ending of the game is outside. How is this survival horror again? It's more like piano fetch. Oh, so the taxi driver was actually a skeleton. That's an interesting development. But what's really scary is that Conby is just leaving the piano behind. Alone in the Dark is a game with no way for the player to accomplish the task set for them in the beginning. Likewise, the game itself is a goofy mess that fails to accomplish its own goals. I can only give such a disappointing game the low score of 9 out of 10. Alone in the Dark 2 starts with Infogrames having an internal disagreement on the direction the series should take, leading to most of the staff that worked on the original to leave the company, as Infogrames pumps out half-assed yearly sequels that drop any attempt to be scary and instead try to be action games, using the unaltered engine of the original. What I find funny is that at no point did anyone at Infogrames ask themselves, "Gee, I wonder how many enemies on screen the Alone in the Dark engine can handle before it becomes an unplayable slideshow." Because the answer is less than 5. Alone in the Dark 2 opens with an old man sneaking in through an open window into a little girl's room, but before his intentions are made clear, a clown strangles him and he spills some thick milk all over the beautiful floor. Is this an art game? No. Instead of this game being about going back to get the piano Carnby forgot about in the first game, it's about infiltrating the stronghold of some undead pirates masquerading as gangsters to save a young girl whom the pirate mobsters want to use as a sacrifice so that they can continue to be undead pirate mobsters and not just dead. Over the course of the game, you fight terrible controls and being stun locked in place until you die. Oh, it's the old man that got killed by a clown. He's got a note on him.
Carnby, I am obsessed with you. I am so gay for you. Carnby, I must sex you. You are the slave. I am the master. Bite my balls. Carnby. Carnby, I jacked off to Hell's Kitchen.
But unfortunately, unlike the original, Carnby doesn't forget his main goal, and you get to be the little girl! With 2 terrible stealth sequences, one of which ends with her being captured, but she needs to be captured by a specific undead mobster pirate after solving a mostly pointless puzzle. If she gets captured at any other point, it's game over. Oh. Did I mention that Santa Claus was a real person in the Alone in the Dark canon? And the undead pirate mobsters have been expecting him. This is why they let you run around their lair freely after you find the Santa costume. Huh. So this is just a terrible Christmas game? Wait, why would you have a Christmas tree out on Halloween? What exactly happened between games that made everything Scooby-Doo? What is this garbage? Times aren't worth 1 cent. None of these people were in the credits of the first game. Who was the target audience? Can't be people who enjoy playing games. Kind of blew that. What is this garbage? Times aren't worth 1 cent. When it's more enjoyable to watch a screensaver than play a game, there might be a problem. Times aren't worth a Christmas tree out. When it's more enjoyable to watch a Santa Claus. Alone in the Dark, Alone in the Dark, Alone in the Dark. H.P. Lovecraft, there might be a problem. Problem. Fuck you. The final act of Alone in the Dark 2 takes place on the pirate ship under the pirate's lair. It's much easier than everything that came before it, because the pirates are now only armed with melee weapons and no longer have machine guns that stun lock you in place from a distance. Carnby has a final encounter with the pirate captain and escapes with the little girl. The end. It's good to know that the Alone in the Dark series was dropped on its head and given severe brain damage not even a year after first emerging from the creative womb. What were they even going for with this game? They made a game called Alone in the Dark, where at no point are you alone in the dark. Why? Alone in the Dark 3 starts with Infogrames trying to milk the original for all it's worth without understanding what made it appealing due to everyone behind it having left, and releasing another sequel barely even a year after the abortion that was Alone in the Dark 2. This time, Carnby gets to go to the wild, wild west and shoot up some outlaws as a cowboy. Kids like cowboys, right? Yeah, kids love cowboys. Almost as much as they love being alone in the dark.
Shoot, that rat of a landlord has cut the picture again. I'm alone in the dark.
Congratulations, game. You've just lost the privilege of being called that. Carnby's Cowboy Quest takes place shortly after the events of Carnby's Conquest. Returning from the original game is What's-Her-Face. Only this time, she isn't a playable character with an actual story in contrast to Carnby's retardation, and instead takes the role of the damsel in distress for Carnby to save from supernatural outlaws. Supernatural outlaws who have discovered uranium and plan on inventing a bomb so they can blow up the San Andreas Fault so California will sink into the Pacific Ocean. Remember when the big selling point of these games were that they were inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft? Neither do I. Kambi heads to Slaughter Gulch to save the female from the outlaws, but the outlaws blow a perfectly symmetrical hole in the bridge, trapping Kambi, leaving him no option other than to rescue the girl and foil their plans to St. California. Kambi's cowboy quest consists entirely of being railroaded from one shootout with supernatural cowboys to the next, with the occasional puzzle in between. Attempting to go anywhere the game currently doesn't want you to will cause Kambi to lock up and wait to be shot by an undead cowboy that kills you in one hit, which is funny considering how many cowboys Kambi's gonna kill and how many bullets he's gonna take over the course of the game. In the first game, you were dropped in the mansion and encouraged to explore the rooms. In this game, you start off in an open area with what would appear to be several different directions you can choose to explore, but going anywhere but through this door will result in death by standing still and waiting to be shot. Kambi's cowboy quest is more linear than the previous Kambi games, but I will say that the game itself is not as terrible as Kambi's Conquest. At no point in Kambi's cowboy quest did I find myself stun locked in place until I died, or have the game suddenly become a PowerPoint presentation. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about asking me, hey, my name here, this game, is it fun? And I will respond to that by saying, no. But why do games need to be fun, you entitled piece of shit? I've really got to hand it to Kambi's cowboy quest. It manages to tap into mankind's primal fear of abstract geometry. The only thing really scary in the game is the fact that the undead cowboys know how to edit films and leave films flying around with threats directed at Kambi on them. But because it's the 1920s, the films are silent, so they have to add in the threatening subtitles. At one point, Kambi has to grab a suitcase from a safe and immediately jump out a window. When he lands, an NPC hands him a note written by an undead cowboy demanding that Kambi give him the suitcase. During the 5 seconds it takes to grab the suitcase and jump out the window, the undead cowboy found out, wrote you a letter, gave it to the schmuck standing where you land, and took off. Now that's some scary stuff. Shortly after that, Kambi dies, and then the player has to kill werewolves as a mountain lion so that Kambi can return to purge the unclean. Kambi then has to face his evil clone, which suddenly appeared with no explanation and solely exists so Kambi can touch him and get his clothes. After more shooting and moving forward, Kambi saves the female, and Kambi is confronted by the leader of the undead cowboys, who is wearing a uranium-powered mech suit. But Kambi manages to kill him by dropping an electrically charged cord into a small puddle in the corner of the room and waiting for the undead cowboy in power armor to step in the puddle on his own, making the undead cowboy look kinda like a big fucking retard. Kambi and the female then escape by train, but they don't manage to get far before heavily mutated William Perkins starts tearing the train up. Video games, funny stuff, right? 8.8. Alone in the Dark, the New Nightmare abandons the wacky 1920s setting of the original Kambi Quest trilogy to be set in present day. Well, present day when it was released in 2001. Kambi is a detective, like in the previous games, but this time...
Kambi's a loose cannon.
I'm fed up with this world.
Well, you can't blame them for wanting to completely reboot the series.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest
Shadow Island.
Is there any danger? I was hired to authenticate the translation of the Bible story of Noah's Ark.
My best friend died because
I like books about animals.
Aline, wake up.
What? Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm very sorry. Listen, I know Professor Morton's reputation. He's a scientist, a great researcher.
Well, to me, he's
My sweetheart since childhood.
getting close. Shadow Island.
Her only characteristic is that her father is unknown, and his is that he owns a gun. Well, at least the game is being upfront about its characters being underdeveloped. I'll have to go with Kambi. I don't think not knowing your father is going to do any damage to the monsters. Speaking of monsters, this game is trying to be Silent Hill and Resident Evil at the same time. It's like the icky byproduct of survival horror incest.
This is Jill.
So Conby gets to the mansion, but he doesn't know where Barry is. So he meets up with the female lead and erases her from existence while meeting an old man.
I didn't come here to fool around. I came to assist you.
My weakness.
Then you find some keys. Keys go to lock doors. You have to go into your inventory and manually use a key when in front of a door. But there's no indication as to which key goes to what door. So when you find the key, you have to run around trying it on every single door in the fucking house. This is made more fun by the fact that enemies respawn shortly after you leave a room.
The name's Fuckby. Edward Fuckby.
Go to hell!
No, you got me all wrong. I'm here to help you.
Do not lie to me. You are here for something else.
I'm here to fist you.
Sure.
And then he finds a rocket launcher pistol on her nightstand. I'm sorry, am I supposed to be feeling any sort of suspense in this game? I have a triple-barreled shotgun, a plasma thrower, a rocket launcher pistol, and a grenade launcher. It's like all of the weapons in this game were meant for a New Game Plus mode or something. More unmarked key to unlock door action. Then it's revealed Umbrella wants to open a hellgate or something retarded.
The darkness will spill out across the world.
That doesn't sound good.
You have no idea of the consequences of what you're about to do.
I never cared for your human world. My research has paid off. I have created a new being, a being with no conscience, no feelings, no pain. A being who will know neither doubt nor hope.
The ultimate life form. Tyrant!
Wesker, you're pitiful.
Don't come this way!
I saw a helicopter on the West Shore. You haven't a second to waste. Hurry!
But, and you?
I can now fulfill my destiny.
But, and you?
Go!
Alone in the Dark, the 2008 Nightmares, the very merry reboot made by the same company that had been fucking the series up from the start. After they bought the rights to Atari and changed their name to Atari, they would rather be associated with Custer's Revenge and nearly destroying an entire fledgling industry than a pride armadillo. But Conby looks similar to how he did in New Nightmare, and it's set in the same time frame. What do you mean, reboot?
My name here?
I'll get to it, silly.
Baby fucking vegetable.
The game starts off with a linear walking sequence showcasing the game's groundbreaking blinking mechanic. And then a guy teleports inside of me and shoots me without even holding his gun correctly. Wow. This is so cinematic.
Who are you? Give me my stone!
I don't have your stone, and fuck you anyway.
Fuck you, Leatherhead.
Wow, such cinematic writing. Such a cinematic game. Cinematic. This game is so cinematic. That's why the main menu is set up with a cinematic scene select that lets you select cinematic chunks of the cinematic game like a cinematic cinema movie. I totally feel like I am watching a 5-star movie and not a shitty video game written by idiots.
My God. Who the hell am I?
The plot so far is that Conby has amnesia and is in a building that is being torn apart by a supernatural force which also has the ability to possess people. These possessed people are called humans. with a Z. Z's are cool because they have these sharp edges, and you can like totally cut someone with one as opposed to the dull soft curves of an S.
So many questions. Then I suppose you're the answer man, shithead?
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
I have unleashed a wickedness that waited centuries for revenge. This is what I released you from, Edward. What was trapped in the stone.
Fucking stone!
After escaping the building with what's-his-face and what's-her-face, the ancient evil starts destroying the city, pushing the player into a chase sequence with an instant death war while becoming acclimated with some of the worst driving physics in video game history. This is easy as long as you keep your shit in check. Oh wait, why am I slowing down? Oh, I died. This game used to cost $60 US.
Hurry! We must go to the museum before he's gathered an even larger army.
Whose army? What are you talking about?
Everything okay?
No, not okay. He's hurt bad and I'm losing my mind. I bet that was a fucking 10 on the Richter
Damn it.
scale.
Look, I didn't tell you to come along.
Shut
you
up!
think
Both of you!
Hey, take it easy, Theophile. Let's just put the gun down, okay?
You're the only one that can stop this, Edward.
What are you talking about?
Meet me at the museum, Edward. Room 943.
No!
Now you may be wondering, this game, does its gameplay have the fun? No, its gameplay does not have the fun. Does it be having the open world sandbox stefado? Misconception of the mind. Only one of 8 chapters takes place in Central Park Sandbox. Festus Feces festivities. What is they be needing to have meet man who suicided himself in museum? Follow corridor. Sandbox not be the having until unpleasurable game almost over.
Try to call 911. Maybe they can help.
No, I don't think they can help. But you know what might help? A scene that shoehorns in some connections to the original trilogy that assists the current story in no way.
A public restroom.
Edward.
Miss me?
I told you he'd find us. Full name, please?
Edward Carnby.
Memory coming back?
Yeah, something like that.
Here we go.
What do you got?
Must have pulled the wrong file.
Let me see. Professor Edward Carnby. Researcher. Paranormal investigator, huh? Solved the case of Jeremy Hartwood's suicide at Tercito's Manor in 1924.
What the fuck?
You're like
100 years old.
This asshole didn't need to be this asshole. And to say this asshole looks anything like that asshole is quite a large stretch.
I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
No, not really. They're probably going to flesh this plot point out in the sequel that doesn't
I'll
exist.
send the files to your cell phone so you can, I don't know.
Nitpick the shit out of them.
Thanks, Doc.
First up, it was a really good idea to mention Alone in the Dark 2. It makes this game look really good in comparison. Of course, by saying the events of Alone in the Dark 2 are canon, you are giving players a severe case of whiplash when comparing the tone of the original trilogy to this game.
Fuck you!
Judging by the descriptions of Alone in the Dark 1 and 2, along with the idea that they thought this would be a good idea, it is safe to assume that no one who worked on the story of this game actually played them, and the only research done was looking at the box art online. Carnby did not go to Tercetto Mansion to investigate Jeremy Hartwood's suicide. He was sent there to collect an antique piano. Emily Hartwood went to the mansion to try to find out why her uncle killed himself. And how exactly did Carnby solve a suicide case?
Yep, he killed himself.
Everyone already knew that. Are you trying to tell me he tried to convince people about the evil tree in the basement he destroyed and the monsters it controlled that conveniently no longer exist without getting institutionalized? Maybe that's exactly what happened. Everything after Alone in the Dark 1 is just a story Carnby makes up in his head as he wastes away in a padded cell. Alone, in the dark, We are the real monsters for not believing him. That would certainly explain why all the sequels are so fucking fruity. What is this shit doing in his medical records anyway? Why is there nothing medical in his medical records? Oh no! The first love interest got captured! Better put her out of her misery!
Fuck around or I'll shoot you myself.
Jeez! Is this Alone in the Dark? Or no chemistry in the park? So they make it to the museum to meet Ghost of Squishy Head. Wow! This is the first legitimately creepy thing in the entire series! It only took them 16 years, and it's the unintentional result of someone's incompetence. But they did it.
I'll stay next to you.
We have no time. I died to join you here, because this war is raging on every plane of existence. The stone you're carrying.
So, this stone is actually one of 2 keys which are used to open a vault under Central Park which contains Satan. Satan wants to get the stones to break the seal on himself so he can bring about the end times. And Carnby, with his newfound insight on this situation, decides his best course of heroic action is to free Lucifer.
I'm heading to the old castle.
And now Carnby is on a quest to find the other key to Satan's lockbook.
Beg for mercy! Son of a bitch.
Edward, it wasn't safe there. Ah, fuck! What is that?
It's a dead issue.
The game then drops you in its open world sandbox. But given its size and stage, it is more like a letterbox. You need to go around Central Park destroying the roots of evil so you can level up your spectral vision so you can solve a puzzle. So you go around breaking stuff and causing a ruckus until you get level 30 spectral vision. You solve the puzzle and then you have to point a telescope at the moon to highlight the path to the other key. The issue here is that while you are looking through the telescope, there are 2 moons. Someone at Atari did not do the research of the planet they live on, Earth. So now we know where Satan lost his car keys. We can go get them, right? Not so fast, you melon-sucking butter blaster. You have to go destroy more roots of evil, which didn't exist the first time you went around Central Park destroying them. This time, you have to get your spectral vision up to 80 to dispel the force field around the fucking key. So after nearly 2 hours of mind-numbing tedium, you can finally enter the Spirit Temple and find the key.
Welcome, carrier. My name is Hermes Trismegistus, and I am your key. At long last, a worthy key.
Excuse me? What the hell are you talking about?
I, like you, for centuries I have remained in this room, murdering and corrupting men, until finally, I came.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I think it's time to introduce you to the wonders of the modern automobile.
Breaking news, Edward.
Wait. Hey, hold this for me, okay?
What kind of artifact is this?
Who's there, Edward?
There's a soul inside.
You only have a few minutes. From what I've read, you need to get here, or millions of people will regret it. Now get going!
There is one last driving sequence as Lucifer throws everything he's got at you to prevent you from giving him what he wants. And then the game is over.
This is Lucifer's door to our world. Your stone carrier.
Fucking stone.
The growing light announces Lucifer's arrival. When the light has filled the 9 circles of the gate, Lucifer will be incarnated.
Fuck!
The stone is once again complete. Take it.
Fucking stone.
Edward, can you hear me?
Fuck! The Lightbringer is manifesting. Fuck!
No! Oh, not you!
Fuck you! Fuck!
I told you! You're not alone in this!
Choose quickly, carrier. Kill her or let her live. You alone can decide, and you will decide for all.
Fuck you!
The last free act of man was murder.
So was his first free act.
You're not a man anymore.
I'm the light bringer. I'm the fucking universe.
Men will stand against you.
Did you think I'd come alone?
That is just beautiful. The other ending, where this female becomes possessed and Carnby just walks away, is most likely the canonical ending, and the start points for the other $60 that they intended to milk from consumers, before they realize no one actually likes Alone in the Dark. And since this is a continuation of the original trilogy, it is safe to assume that Santa Claus would fuck up Lucifer's shit or something wrong. These games are stupid. The Alone in the Dark series started out with some neat ideas, but then not so much.